And finally, Part 8 of the Introduction and Overview to C504 Cataloging. As I mentioned earlier, cataloging is one piece of the whole in the library, but it is also one piece of the whole in our field. Cataloging fits into that whole in such a way that it interacts with and is a prominent part of each other piece. You are likely aware of the American Library Association, ALA. It is a national organization in the United States serving the purpose of bringing people together who work with libraries in some way throughout the country. I've also mentioned the International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions, IFLA. It is an international organization serving much of the same purpose but globally. ALA and IFLA have their own structures, their own hierarchies, and their own agendas, but they are not working opposite each other. Rather, they are working alongside each other or with each other. Inside both ALA and IFLA live communities that specifically serve the purpose of gathering catalogers and metadata creators and furthering the mission of bettering descriptive organizational standards for library collections. Adjacent to those are organizations like the Indiana Library Federation or the Ohio Valley Group of Technical Services Librarians that serve the same purposes at a local or regional level. And then there are institutional groups like the IU Cataloging Congress, which explicitly serves an institution. All of these organizations provide a variety of educational opportunities to serve the needs of members. I've mentioned OCLC already, which many of you have used or will use in this class. OCLC, originally the Ohio College Library Center, is now the Online Computer Library Center, but it very affectionately is just called OCLC. Though they have a complete integrated library system and the WorldCat OPAC, catalogers primarily use the product called Connection, which is the cooperative cataloging utility. I will also explain what I mean by cooperative. Though the half of the building that physically holds WorldCat is a cube, and it's our shared efforts that make so much information available around the world, it's the cooperative, not the collective. Catalogers all over the world quite literally cooperate on our work. Where libraries collect materials to develop and maintain a collection locally, and we don't all go to one building somewhere in the world to get at that one copy of a particular book, catalogers share our descriptive records with each other so that we aren't spending our time doing something that someone else is also doing at the same time, just in a different building. Though OCLC is not the only utility to do this, there is also SkyRiver. It is the one we use here, and it is used by most of our colleagues. Michigan State is the only SkyRiver library that I know of off the top of my head, but the rest of our colleagues use OCLC Connection. So when there isn't descriptive data written according to our standards for something that we have, we write it in Connection. Then we copy it over to our local ILS IUCAT so that our users know that we have that thing. But Purdue can also copy it to their catalog so their users know they also have that thing. So can the Library of Congress, and so can all of your undergraduate universities. That's the cooperative nature of it. We can all copy each other's answers and give each other the answers, and it's okay. It saves time and therefore money. And it ensures we are all using matching data, not whatever data we feel like having on any given day. And back to the topic at hand, because besides OCLC, there are other useful databases and utilities which come in handy for a variety of things. And we all use them too. They help us all. For example, there is VIAF, the Virtual International Authority File. When you are looking for a person's name or the title of a work, and want to know how people in other countries spell it, or whether they know the middle name of some other detail, you can look in VIAF. While OCLC Connection holds an up-to-date instance of the U.S. National Authority File, the NAF, it is actually run by the Library of Congress. And while we create authority records and deposit them to the NAF through Connection, they all go through a final review before they are okayed for official use and deposited in LC's original instance of the National Authority File. The NAF includes all authority records, including names, titles, subjects, and genres. And then there are particular institutions which lead the charge of standardizing our craft. At the top of our game in the U.S. is the Library of Congress, LC. Though they do not consider themselves to be our national library, they serve that role in many capacities, not the least of which is cataloging policy and procedure. LC runs several cooperative programs itself, such as the Program for Cooperative Cataloging, PCC. Within PCC exists the Name Authority Cooperative, NACO, the Subject Authority Cooperative, SACO, and BIBCO for descriptive records. Within those, there are topic-specific projects called funnels that focus on particular kinds of content. Those programs require application, training, study, and practice under the tutelage of certified reviewers. For example, I am going through my NACO education under the supervision of a cataloger at the University of Texas. Once the training and review has been complete, I will be considered independent. #cataloger goals. Throughout the semester, we will cover at least the following things. You will learn about putting the rules and policies into practice. As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is our ability to put everything into practice. We will cover specific rules as they come up, but not all of them at once. And that's it for the module. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out or pose them in the general cataloging discussion in Canvas. If you haven't yet, or even if you already have, read through those required and suggested readings. Some of them should now make a lot more sense. What you've heard in these videos may also influence or make you reconsider the decisions you made in the RPG. Consider bringing those up in the Module 1 discussion. This is a lot to take in, and there is much more coming throughout the semester. Honestly, learning cataloging is one of the most complicated things in library school, and there is never an end to the learning. Everyone at the end of a decades-long career will tell you that they are still learning cataloging. That's life, really. Always learning something new. The point is not to intimidate or discourage you, but to encourage you to stick with it and know that we are all in this together, helping each other out and making sure we all succeed.